And we just have a fundamental difference of opinion with him on that. One other just easy free market reform, small businesses struggle dramatically with insurance costs. And I talk to a lot of small business. I was one for a number of years. I had my own small business before I came to Americans for Prosperity. And there's an idea out there called risk pooling. Have you guys read about that? It would simply allow a number of small businesses, even if they're from disparate professions or backgrounds, to come together and risk pool their employees together. And you know how that works. When you have a larger body of folks to be covered, it makes you more attractive to insurance companies. You get better rates. And risk pooling, though, again, it's a simple, short, fast, free market fix. But it doesn't have a role for government to step in. And they want that role. They very badly want to create these new agencies and build a new dependency. The dependency is something that's important for them, ideologically speaking, and we have to stand up and fight that.
Fantastic. I think it's, sorry about that. I think it's important to say that as a small business owner, and I hope I'm speaking for the majority of small business owners, we want to do right by our employees. We want to take care of our employees. This is not a push them aside and hope I don't have to pay. If I could provide health care at an economic rate for my employees, I absolutely would. And one of the methods, or one of the things that we do in our business, is that we allow our management crew to go out and shop their own plans, buy them as individuals, and then compensate them on the other side. And they get the plan that they want, at the price that they want. We chip in, and it all works out.
Yeah, and that's the free market.
It is.
You need the free market. The gentleman in there, oh, right there, Whitney, yes, that lady.
I have a very short question. What percentage of the American population are uninsured medically?
What percentage of the American population is uninsured today? Yes, American citizens.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's a good, excellent distinction.
The truth is, no one knows. I mean, that's the truth. You've heard these numbers. I mean, the president likes to use, I think I heard him at one point say over 40 million. I think it was either the president or Speaker Pelosi, which is nuts. That number is pure fantasy. Of citizens, it's a far lower percentage of people. I know one of the most interesting numbers, I think it's the Gallup poll. They do a consistent poll that asks Americans, how satisfied are you with the coverage you're receiving if you have health insurance? And well over 80% of Americans say they're satisfied with their coverage and that they have health insurance coverage. And I'm thinking well up into the high 80s. So I think the number is much lower than the other side is. They tend to want to create a crisis. Have you ever noticed that? There's a crisis of the month on the left, and then the nanniest state wants to rush in and save us from the crisis. I mean, I'll never forget being subjected to Al Gore and the 2000 scare, remember that? And Al Gore pompously, which I guess why do you have to say pompously, it's Al Gore. But nevertheless, trooping around between decrying global warming, also saying, well, we got to fix this too. Okay, the government enjoys a crisis. And I think this is one, we've got to work on this problem. We've got to make important improvements to our healthcare system. We're for reforms, honest reforms, that are not a government takeover.
Okay, we've got time. This is the part of the program where you're going to hate me now, and I know this. I signed up for this. Yes, let's direct this question, which will be our last question for John. So, yes, ma'am. I know, see, I knew it. He's in trouble. I'm already in trouble. Yes, ma'am. I think you probably could hear it a little easier.
You are my hero because I have two daughters that are liberal girls with journalism degrees, and I keep thinking there's hope. You've given me hope, thank you. My gynecologist gets $9 from Medicare for a... Oh my God! Have journalism degrees and they're liberals. And so you've given me hope with all of that my kids can come around someday. So my gynecologist gets $9 from Medicare for an exam. $9. That doesn't cover the plastic I'm sitting on, the gown I put on, or the sterilization of the instrument. You can't keep it up. And my other question, what comes after $1 trillion?
what comes after a trillion? They don't know the answer.
I'm a liberal arts major. I'm in trouble too, John.
But the point when, and I apologize for being so dense up here, but there's something about my hearing and the way the sound bounces that's I couldn't hear the questions. But she talked about her gynecologist getting $9 compensation on visits. The beauty of a free market is that some people want to spend their money on sports cars and less on health care. Some may want a quickie gynecological appointment. Some may want a really detailed appointment where they want to pay $300. One size, government control means one size fits all. It's not what America should be about.
I want to point out, just to give patients an idea of what physicians are trying to deal with. Recently, a study was done that women don't need a yearly cervical exam. They need an every 3-year cervical exam. Now, for us women, yippee. But for primary care doctors that have been doing these yearly exams, there was a local insurance company, I won't name, who wrote them a letter and wanted to be reimbursed for every cervical exam they'd done for the past 3 years. Because they said that the women didn't need that except for every 3 years. The physician did the exam based on current medical practice and what we call standard of care. But when that standard of care changed, because a new study changed, this local insurance company wanted them to retrospectively reimburse the money they had been given after they had done an appropriate exam. This is the kind of thing that physicians are having to fight every day. And we don't pass it on to our patients. Exactly, the patient is too. In the interest of time, I will answer your questions about evidence-based medicine as soon as we have enough time. Yes.
I think we could probably be here for hours on end, and I think I don't want to speak for Tim, but I think the big thing to take out of today is you're already involved, get even further involved. There's a House plan came out today by Speaker Pelosi. I don't know if any of you had a chance to see that, but just become more involved because you all know what's at stake. You all know what's at stake. Shawn, you got anything you want to wrap up with?
I think folks, when people say we want government to fund health care, we need to be very careful. And I tell you, coming from a Canadian perspective, this is what hits home most for me. In the province of Quebec, where I'm from, folks, your first $38,000 in income is taxed at a rate of 28.2%, folks, 28.2%. If you make combined household income over $126,000 a year, folks, you are taxed at a rate of over 48%, okay? Government in Canada decides what to do with your money. Folks, it does not work. We decide for ourselves how best to use our money.